In this video, I'm going to show you the best way to farm minerals for the Race for Stand event and get all the limited time rewards that come with it. I'm going to go through all the new missions for the event and see which ones are worth doing. The thing about this event is, unlike the previous events, you don't have to choose a side. You can work for anyone, anywhere, at any time. In fact, it's encouraged because each megacorp has its own reward track, which you can view in your journal. If you somehow weren't aware, the first couple days of this new event was a massive clusterfuck. Most of the mercenary missions weren't showing up, and the cargo missions were funneling people to the same 4 outposts, causing massive traffic jams and wait times, not to mention the always unreliable freight elevators. And then there was the fact that only one person at a time in the entire shard can accept a mission, which meant the only missions that were available were the cargo hauling ones, cause no one wanted to do them. Despite that, I was able to do all the intro missions for all the megacorps, plus a medium cargo hauling contract for Hurston. But after a few hotfixes, the event is in a much more playable state than it was over the weekend, although mission availability seems to have broke again after a brief period of it working. So first, don't bother doing bounties or ambush missions. The cargo that the ships spawn with have been giga-nerfed. They used to hold hundreds of these minerals, now they only spawn one of each, presumably to entice players to play the new resource drive missions. You also can no longer buy these minerals from commodity shops, so really the only way you can get them is either from mining or the new missions. Let's start with cargo hauling. There's a reason no one wants to do it. It's boring and completely reliant on freight elevators, which have a tendency to break, and you're also vulnerable to griefers. But if you do want to do it, I highly suggest you get the Argo Raft. It has enough cargo capacity to do large cargo hauling missions, and the cargo grid is on the outside of the ship, making it easier and faster to load and unload compared to a Taurus or Hercules. You can rent it at Hurston starting at 70k AUEC, making it much cheaper than the Taurus. A big gripe I have with the hauling missions is that the large missions only have boxes up to 4 SCU, which is stupid because normal large hauling missions have boxes up to 8 SCU. Why would CIG make us do twice the work? There are no large cargo ships that I'm aware of that can't fit an 8 SCU box. It makes no sense. Next is the Vessel Under Attack mission. This involves you protecting a cargo ship from hostiles, like the patrol missions. Unlike the patrol missions though, you'll be fighting waves of enemies. For the large Vessel Under Attack mission, I was using a souped up Corsair with attritions and an upgraded shield. Initially when I played the mission, there were 3 waves of 4 ships, which was pretty easy to solo. I was mostly fighting light and medium fighters, cutlasses, and a large ship. But I also have seen it spawn as much as 6 ships, and sometimes will spawn a bigger ship like a caterpillar, which is a lot harder, and I have failed it a number of times. My strategy would be to focus on the smaller ships first, like the Arrows or Gladiuses, then start fighting the bigger ships, because you want to whittle down their numbers as fast as possible. But if there is a lot of ships to fight, another strategy would be to tap all the enemies attacking the cargo ship to draw aggro. So it is soloable, but it can get pretty difficult. The beauty of this is that there's no cargo to unload. Once you've completed the mission, you will be credited with the cargo in your journal. How much cargo? 45 SUs, despite being a large mission. It is faster to do than the medium hauling mission though. It also has the smallest payout of all the large missions with only 60k AUEC. Next we have Retrieve Stolen Cargo, which is an FPS mission. You're tasked with recovering stolen minerals from outlaws at their outposts. For small missions, you have to retrieve 5 1 SCU boxes, and large missions, you have to retrieve 10 8 SCU boxes. The priority is to get back the stolen minerals through any means necessary. You don't have to kill everyone, you only need to get the boxes. In fact, you don't even have to fight at all. If you have a C1 Spirit, Raft, or a Taurus, which you can rent, or a Nomad for the small missions, you can just pluck those boxes right from under their noses. Just make sure that you destroy any turrets defending the base or outpost, if there is any, before you do it. Weirdly, once you've completed it, at least for the large missions, it will give you a bonus 10 SU towards your progress in your journal. So instead of getting 80, you get 90 SUs, which I don't know if that's intentional, but hey, I ain't complaining. Then we have the resource acquisition contracts. Unlike the other ones, these are paid based on how many resources you've delivered and can last as long as you want. This contract is geared mostly towards mining, but can still be useful for people doing missions. If for example a mission bugs out and won't update, this contract will act as a backup so that delivering these minerals to the freight elevator will still count towards your journal progress. Also, if you have a change of mind and want to deliver the minerals to another megacorp, this contract will help you do that. There's another reason no one does cargo hauling. if you look at the payment for each mineral, and then look at the large cargo hauling contract, doing the math, if I complete the large hauling mission, I get about 101,000 AWEC. But if I accept the resource acquisition contract, and then accept a large hauling mission, and then cancel it before sending it down the freight elevator, for copper, I would get 57,816 AWEC. For corundum, I would get 58,320 AWEC, and for tungsten, I would get 38,880 AWEC. Adding it all together, I would receive a total of 155,016 AWEC, over 50% more than if I completed a large hauling contract. So if you are doing the large hauling mission, make sure you accept the resource acquisition contract and cancel the large hauling mission before you send down the cargo to ensure you get a bigger payday. But is mining worth it for the event? Well, personally, I haven't done any ship mining in almost 2 years, and a lot has changed since then, so I won't get down to the nitty-gritty details. Right now, the largest mining ship is still the Argo Mole with 96 SUs of capacity. Assuming you mine 96 SUs of pure minerals every time, and you refine it at a refinery with no mineral bonus, you'll get about 82 SUs of refined minerals. To complete all 5 tiers of 1 megacorp, you will need to do this about 33 times. A little less if you refine it at a refinery with the appropriate mineral bonuses. For all megacorps, we're talking about 130 times. And again, that's under ideal circumstances. And since we only got a month, if you were to only do mining, you would have to pull a little over 4 full loads a day, every day, for a month. And that's not to mention time spent refining and transporting these minerals to their destinations. Despite what the mission description says, there are better places to find these minerals. According to the website Regolith, the best place to find copper would be Kurel 5. Every rock there is guaranteed to have copper. You might have also seen Kurel 3, but there's absolute dick there. The best place to find corundum would be around Gaslight Station around Pyro 5 L2. Although if you want to avoid Pyro, the best place instead to find corundum would be Clio, and the best place to find tungsten is Kurel 4. So is it worth it to mine? Honestly, I think I prefer cargo hauling over this. And last but not least is the Recover Cargo Ship mission. In my opinion, this is probably the best one out of all the missions, because all you have to do is get the cargo ship, fly back to the space station or city, and unload 9 boxes into the freight elevator. Typically, if it's a large mission, it will spawn either a Hercules or a Caterpillar. Here's the best way to do it. Get a hover bike and a ship that can hold it, then fly to the lost cargo ship and stop within 10 kilometers of it. This will aggro some of the hostile ships towards your ship, blowing them away from the cargo ship. While that's happening, you'll be in your hover bike flying towards that cargo ship. Enemy reinforcements will spawn, but that's okay. You want to get into the ship and run to the cockpit as fast as possible. With the Hercules, it's pretty straightforward. With a Caterpillar, the fastest way to get in is to enter in the upper deck of the first cargo bay on the cockpit side. Once you're in the pilot's seat, power on the ship and engine and immediately go into quantum mode. Sometimes the ship won't have any power allocated initially, but switching to quantum mode will automatically allocate power to the engines, and then just quantum away. The beauty of the Caterpillar is that it has its own built-in tractor beam that allows it to unload most of its cargo. With the Hercules, I recommend using an ATLS, which you can now call up from freight elevators. However, before you do that, you must touch every box in the ship with your tractor beam because there's still a bug where the ATLS tractor beam won't recognize boxes that are attached to ship cargo grids. Every large mission will net you between 100 to 125 SUs of cargo, which is second only to the large hauling mission. But like the large hauling mission, you only need to unload 9 boxes versus loading and unloading 45 boxes. I still don't understand why they're making us do that. And that's everything you need to know about getting minerals for the Race for Stand event. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed or found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe and ring that bell. Currently, as I'm recording this, the combat and recovery missions are broken again, and the only missions that show up are the hauling and acquire resource contracts. I haven't completed any of the reward tracks. The most progress I've made is with Hurston. I don't know if I'll get all the rewards though. These issues are very bothersome. I have a theory that the reason why Crusader and ArcCorp are so far behind in this event is because they have half as many outposts with freight elevators as Hurston and Microtech, which I theorize would cause more traffic jams. So probably people are trying to get Hurston and Microtech out of the way before doing Crusader and ArcCorp. That's my theory at least, but what do you guys think? Let me know what you think of this event in the comments below. This event seems like a great idea if the game wasn't Star Citizen. Only Star Citizen can have so many fuck-ups like this. In the meantime, if you're done with this event, either mentally or actually, or you want a break from the monotony of transporting these minerals, this update came with a big change to Wiggle's rewards, making scripts more valuable than ever before. If you want to know the best way to earn them, then I highly recommend you watch this video right here.